What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Live Volty back with another video. Hope you're all having a great day so far and staying green with those trades. It was overall a great day for the markets and especially for Apple, which is what we're going to be taking a look at during the video today. So real quick, if you enjoy these videos, drop a like down below, comment if you're in Apple or what you think Apple is going to do, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It really helps me out as I'm trying to grow. So wasting no time, getting right into it, let's take a look at the Dow. So it was up 463 points today. Friday we saw a huge drop. If we take a look at the 5-day chart, we weren't doing so bad, and then Friday the drop with the news coming out that President Trump had coronavirus, but over the weekend he seems to be doing a lot better, and there was some positive news today about him potentially getting discharged sometime soon and returning to either the White House or the campaigns, whatever. The good news is that he is currently not, or they don't think he's in great danger, at least. Same thing with S&P, up nicely, 1.8%. Dow was up 1.67%, and then Nasdaq, as it is on the bullish days, it was up 2.32%. Now, a lot of that was led by Apple, which is up nicely at 3.08%, a little over 3%. And if we take a look at today's chart, right, we started off kind of down here, gapped up a little bit, did not go back to fill that gap, but we continued upward. Really great strength throughout the day. We didn't even touch the VWAP or try to break below it, which is great. Now, for those of you guys that have been following these videos for a while, you know that I've been talking about this iPhone 12 release coming up. And if we take a look at this article and various articles, if you want to go look them up, there's a lot of details about what they're going to release with the iPhone 12 mini and iPhone 12 Pro and the Pro Max. But basically what's more important to us is when they are going to release it, right? Because that's a short-term catalyst that we could look at to sort of see where the stock could potentially go. And when we do that, it's October 13th or 14th. If we see down here, today is October 5th, which means it's next Tuesday or Wednesday. And typically, if we take a look at kind of Apple over the course of time, they announce these events about a week before, right? So if the event is next Tuesday or Wednesday, they're probably going to announce it this Tuesday or Wednesday, which is a great short-term catalyst for Apple, in my opinion, as this is going to be, something that people are looking forward to, and it'll draw a lot of hype into the stock. Now, taking a look at our indicators. So if we go back to the video that I made yesterday, right? I specifically talked about, kind of this exact level. So if we take a look at the daily charts and I zoom in, two things. I drew this chart. I have not modified it since yesterday's video, but we see that this trend line that I drew, our candle for today, the daily candle, right? Because I'm on the daily chart, fits perfectly, right? Lower high, lower low, great. We're continuing the pattern, which is exactly what we want to see. Great bullish momentum going for Apple. The fact that we opened low and then continued high is also a really good deal. Now, one thing that I kind of want to talk about, let me bring the indicators back out, is I specifically mentioned this on my video from yesterday, Sunday. I talked about, hey, we have broken that 113 support that we had sort of established over the course of last week, but what is the new sort of support and resistance, right? And I mentioned that there's a bunch of EMAs around the 113, 114, and what I was hoping the stock would do is kind of go back to those EMAs, ride those EMAs, and then sort of break out from there. And now if you see the 34 EMA here, right, was at 113.58, and our low for the day, which is where we opened, right, because we opened at the low and just continued upward, was at 113.55. So it was great, right? What I had sort of wanted Apple to do is go back to those EMAs. It did, and it did so perfectly, right? We're talking about a 3-cent difference here. It opened at 113.55. I wanted to see it go to 113.58, right? And not only did it do that, from that point on, it just rose and rose, and went up throughout the course of the day. It not only made it through the 34 EMA 113.58, but continued upward at the 114.25, which is the 21 EMA, and then the 114.32, which is the 8 EMA. Now, that typically could be not necessarily a concern, but something to keep in the back of your mind is, you know, the AEMA is something that the stock could sort of revert to. So the stock right now is at, I mean, market closed about 20 minutes ago here in Central Time. We're at 116.50 and the AEMA is at 114.32. And on a typical day, I'd be like, you know, we're kind of separated from the AEMA, which isn't always a bad thing, but I'm just saying, you know, if it were to dip back down, that's where I expect it to now find support. And that's all the way down at 114.32. But with what we have going on with Apple in the event that I'm hoping we announce in the next couple of days, and you know, I think a lot of other people are as well, you know, I'm hoping that that kind of continues this upward momentum. And then the next point to test would be, so I talked about this in my video from last week, if we take a look at this 117.72 that we opened at on, I believe it was Thursday, that we never then tested. That would be, I think, a strong resistance point. Not a strong resistance point, but I'd look for us to break that high 117s. And then there's a lot more resistance coming up in the 118s to 119. And then obviously 120 would be sort of a mental resistance, right? So I'm really excited to see what Apple stock does in the next couple of days. The one thing that I will sort of say, now if we actually let's take a look at the moving averages really quick before we go on to talk about what I just said about, you know, everything else going on. So taking a look at the 50-day moving average, we're at 114.26, which I think would be great support, and then the 20-day moving average is down at 112.83. So we've got those as well. But you know, I think going into this week and next with the announcement of the event and then the event taking place next week, assuming that happens, there's a lot of rumors, but assuming that happens, and then, you know, it actually going live then based on previous trends next Friday for pre-orders, or excuse me, for orders. Pre-orders would start whenever the event is. Great news for Apple. Should drive a lot of bullish momentum. The other thing is Amazon's Prime Day is this week, so that should be great bullish momentum for the stock as well. Let me just confirm that. So Amazon Prime Day. Oh, October 13th to 14th, excuse me, that's actually next week. So kind of the same timeline as the Apple event itself will be the Amazon Prime Day. So I think hopefully, you know, we'll have a lot of bullish momentum, but there are some things that I want to kind of point out, and those are the COVID stimulus, right? So there have been talks, there's some disagreement between the Democrats and Republicans, thus not allowing a stimulus to happen. So that's one thing. If we get any negative news with that, obviously the stock market will reflect that and kind of go down. The other thing is, you know, with Trump having coronavirus, if we get any update that's negative, right, or not positive rather, that could be bad and cause kind of the stock market to do what it did on Friday and take a little tumble, or, you know, with everyone in the White House getting infected, how that plays out in the long term. So that's sort of the reason why, you know, I'm not as all in, although you should never be all in. When I say all in, I mean, you know, taking into account all the risk management that I talk about all the time. You know, what a normal trade I would take, I'm taking like half of that right now, right? So I am long on Apple, both in stock and in short-term calls and vertical put spreads, expecting the stock to rise. But because of all this uncertainty around us, I am not going with as much money, if that makes sense, right? I'm being very conservative because yes, I think there's a lot of bullish momentum that we can see due to these events and a lot of hype in the stock. But at the same time, we can't discount, you know, COVID and the economic stimulus, because we've seen time and time again how that can impact the stock market. So that's all I had for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, drop a subscribe, just hit that red button. It takes 5 seconds and it really helps me out. Drop a comment down below what you want us to do next, or if you want us to continue looking at these and you enjoy them, and I would love to continue doing that for you. But hope you all are having a great start to your week. Hope you're all trading well and staying green. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.